You need to arrest him immediately. He didn't invite me to his birthday party, and that is completely unacceptable. I'll admit it, I used to find Karen's power trips oddly entertaining. Watching entitlement unravel in real time felt like free front-row theater. She genuinely believed authority was something she was born with, that the entire neighborhood existed to revolve around her moods, schedules, and laminated rule sheets. When I first moved in, I stayed low-key. Lawn trimmed, trash out on time, zero complaints. For 6 full months, I said almost nothing and watched everything. I studied patterns instead of starting battles. Welcome to Deeds Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for premium HOA drama. It didn't take long to understand Karen's operating system. She never listened. She never negotiated. She never doubted herself for even a second. She handed out fines for grass leaning the wrong direction, trash bins being visible for too long, and curtains that apparently disrupted her spiritual energy. HOA meetings weren't meetings. They were solo performances. She spoke non-stop while scribbling violations like autographs. I avoided eye contact, nodded politely, and kept to myself. Somehow that made me her favorite problem. She fined me for parking too close to my own curb, for washing my car on a Tuesday, and for existing without enthusiasm. I paid nothing. I appealed everything. I documented quietly. Ignoring her irritated her more than open defiance ever could. She wanted fear. She wanted submission. She wanted reactions. I gave her silence. Neighbors whispered warnings. They told stories about residents who packed up and left after crossing her. I listened, smiled, and stayed right where I was. I wasn't planning revenge. I was collecting leverage. Power doesn't collapse from noise. It collapses from weight. And Karen carried plenty of it. Karen strutted the neighborhood daily with her clipboard like a sheriff's badge, peering over fences, snapping photos, inventing emergencies. Every knock on my door came with a smirk. Every letter came with unnecessary punctuation. I kept my door closed and my temper locked up tight. I assumed if I stayed invisible long enough, she'd eventually lose interest. Instead, my calm became a challenge. Authority hates being ignored. Karen stopped wanting compliance. She wanted control. And it was obvious she was warming up for something bigger than fines. Silence, patience, and timing, those were the ingredients I gathered, while she mistook restraint for weakness. For the first time since moving in, I decided to host a birthday party. Nothing wild, nothing reckless. Just a small gathering to celebrate surviving another year under Karen's reign. I didn't have many close friends nearby, but a few neighbors smiled when we passed each other. That felt like enough to try something normal. I planned carefully. No loud music, no blocked driveways, no chaos. Against my better judgment, I informed the HOA. I didn't need permission legally, but I wanted documentation, proof I acted in good faith. The moment Karen read my message, she attacked like a shark sensing blood. She called me personally, voice soaked in fake professionalism. She claimed I needed to pay a $2,000 unknown guest exposure fee because unfamiliar faces could disrupt community harmony. Then she added a mandatory $1,500 presence declaration fee, explaining she would attend as HOA president and required compensation. And just for fun, she demanded time during my own birthday to deliver a community wellness speech. I stared at my phone. This wasn't policy, it was extortion with a clipboard. I didn't argue. I thanked her and ended the call. That's when I decided Karen wouldn't be part of my birthday in any way. I didn't cancel the party. I didn't pay her. I didn't ask again. I invited coworkers, family, and neighbors who smiled instead of fined. Music stayed low. Doors stayed closed. The atmosphere stayed relaxed. Deep down, I knew Karen wouldn't tolerate being excluded, but I hoped logic would beat ego. Decorations went up. Food was ready. Laughter filled the house. For once, everything felt normal. With Karen, normal never lasts. On my birthday, the day felt strangely calm. Guests arrived gradually. Conversations flowed. Glasses clinked softly. Neighbors I barely knew showed up with snacks and cautious optimism. For a few hours, the neighborhood felt human. Then the first violent bang hit the door. Laughter froze. Another knock followed, harder, sharper. I didn't need the peephole. Karen announced herself anyway, screaming about violations, authority, and consequences like she was reading scripture. I cracked the door open, red face, twitching clipboard. She accused me of hosting an illegal gathering, demanded immediate payment, and ordered the party shut down. I calmly explained it was a small birthday get-together within legal limits. She wasn't listening. She threatened to call the police. I closed the door. That sent her into orbit. The pounding intensified. Insults followed. Threats spilled freely. Guests shifted uncomfortably. I reassured them, turned the music up slightly, and kept the party going. Eventually, the noise stopped. We thought she'd left. Minutes later, heavier knocking returned, authoritative this time. When I opened the door, 2 police officers stood there, Karen hovering behind them with a grin of pure satisfaction. Please do like and subscribe if you're loving this video. She accused me of disorderly conduct, noise violations, and threats. The officers stepped inside, scanned the calm room, and exchanged looks. Then a loud crash echoed outside. One officer stepped onto the porch and froze. Karen was mid-rage, kicking over planters, smashing decorations, yelling about evidence and property seizure. The second officer followed, disbelief written all over his face. Inside, guests stood stunned. Outside, Karen unraveled completely, unaware she was no longer directing the scene. The officers calmly asked her to step away. She tried flipping the narrative instantly, pointing at me, shouting about HOA authority and imagined emergencies. The body cameras caught everything, including her admitting she called police to teach me a lesson. We were separated. I showed messages, timestamps, and documentation. Karen interrupted nonstop, contradicted herself, and demanded they arrest me instead. When the officer informed her she'd filed a false police report, her confidence collapsed into rage. She lunged for her clipboard, claiming it granted immunity. It didn't. She was arrested on the spot for false reporting, trespassing, and destruction of private property. Neighbors gathered, phones came out, whispers turned into disbelief. Karen screamed that the neighborhood would collapse without her. In court, the footage spoke for itself. No speeches, no lectures. She received 12 months in county jail, 8 to serve, 4 suspended on probation, $18,000 in restitution, a permanent no-contact order with me. Her HOA authority was revoked immediately. The neighborhood changed overnight. Fines vanished. Meetings became discussions. People waved again. My porch was rebuilt, better than before, paid for by Karen herself. I didn't celebrate loudly. I celebrated with peace. Her power trip ended where all fake authority does, under bright lights, clear evidence, and consequences she never believed applied to her. That birthday became legendary, not for cake or music, but because it marked the day one woman's reign collapsed under her own weight. Do you think she got what she deserved? Like, subscribe, and tell us. The end.